to all our live viewers and welcome to Brighton Stadium, where the Brighton Lawyers Sydney Uni Flames go head to head against the reigning champions that are the JCU Townsville Fire in the first of the best of 3 series in the WNBL for 2017. Following their regular season meetings, this semi-final series is keenly anticipated, and lucky for me, beside me for the first time in our debut together, hosting the WNBL 17 semi-final is the great, the legendary, the recently retired 363 gamer, Carly Wilson. How are you?
I'm well, and I'm excited to be here. Look at this crowd, it's piling in. I think it's going to be a really good game.
It is. I mean, when we look at both lineups tonight, Townsville aiming to be just the third team in WNBL history to achieve the three-peat. Nana Wadding was the first team back in the 80s, and followed that up by Adelaide Lightning, which won under the Teacher Jan Sterling in 1994-96. But the other side of the flip of the coin, Sydney Flames, it's been a long time between drinks for them. 2001 was the last time that they were at the grand final and won. How do you see the matchup going tonight, and what is your prediction, Carly?
Prediction. I think it'd be really difficult to not state that Sydney are going to be the favourites tonight. They are the informed team of the league. They've come into this final game having won the last 5, I believe, and they are hot. They are looking really good. But how can you write off Townsville Fire, who have won the last 2 championships, and have also been in really good form in the second half of the season? So I think it'll be really close. I think it's going to be Sydney tonight.
Interesting, and I know your valuable contribution in the knowledge of the game is a lot more than mine, since I'm 2 years retired.
I'm not sure about that, but that's all right. We can make it up as we go along.
But I mean, if we look at the Townsville team, 4 members are from the reigning championship team, so that gives them added advantage in terms of having the experience and that type of thing. Sydney, on the other hand, we look at Linda Snell. Obviously, we have the Olympic experience in Leilani Mitchell, but the rest of them are pretty young in terms of experience when it comes to a championship game. How important is that?
It couldn't be more important. I think when you're talking about experience in finals, it's really unquantifiable. You can't really say, because if you look at Townsville here, they're ready. Look at them. They are firing at the moment. They're focused, and every single one of those players has played in one or more championships at this stage. As you say, we look down at Sydney, they look focused, they're ready to go, but we do see some youth here and some people that maybe do not have as much experience in finals. So, it's an interesting one.
So then, if we look at Sydney and go, okay, they don't have as much experience and all those type of things, who do you think are going to be the key contributors or the stars that are maybe going to get Sydney over the line?
Leilani Mitchell. I mean, what a superstar and what a season she has had. We, Canberra Capitals, lost on the buzzer thanks to Leilani, who hit a really tough shot right as the siren went off. And, that's her. She's done that her whole career. She leads this team. She scores for this team. She's a great defender. So she's really key for them tonight. And then, of course, the other end, we look at Susie Bakovic. We talk about experience with the Olympics, with World Championships, MVP of this league so many times. So they're the 2 key players that are going to be leading their teams tonight. But, you look around, there's so many other talented players that at different stages through the season have stepped up and, have scored in the 20s or done a lockdown defensive job on somebody. We look at Mia, Mully, of course. And then, in Sydney, we go back to Snelly, another really experienced.
You can't deny the credibility and the importance of Linda Snell. She can get on fire at any time. So, in terms of, we know that Susie, Leilani, they're going to have numbers. They're in the top 10 in a lot of the categories statistically in the WNBL this season, and in all their seasons that they've participated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me some X factors that our viewers at home may not be aware of in terms of that is important and just as valuable as the Susies and the Leilanas.
Yeah. Well, when we look at Asia Taylor, she's actually a player that has really impressed me this season. When we were doing our scouting leading into our game against Sydney, I was actually surprised to see that she was leading the league in scoring at that point. Automatically you think of Leilani and you think of her scoring power, and I just presumed that she was their leading scorer, but she wasn't at that stage. So she's someone that we really need to watch tonight. On the other team, Kelly Wilson is actually someone who's come out of injury and can really light it up from the three-point line. So someone else that we want to watch. But every single player on these teams has earned their right and earned their minutes through a really good performance this season. So really anyone could step up.
Now let's change our focus a little. We've talked about the players and the importance of that, but it's the person also running the ship, the coaches. They've been integral in putting these teams together. Both ladies, actually Cheryl Chambers coaching Sydney, actually coached our Townsville Fire, Claudia Prasad, back in the day, long time ago. But I think their role is just as critical, and it's nice to see them both back in the league, both female coaches and contributing. How do you think they're going to play it out? What do you think is going to be the message for the Sydney girls from Cheryl?
Well, if we talk about experience on the court, we have it off the court with these coaches as well, but you have to get it to Cheryl in that respect. She's played in the league, she's coached in the league for a really long time. She's coached in a lot of finals games before, whereas Claudia, this is her first time, and I think it is something that it'll be interesting to see how she goes. I think she's more than capable, but she'd have to be feeling the nerves as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's had a great mentor in Chris Lucas, who's pretty much established the Fire up there and gave them good history. Interestingly enough, I think Cheryl and Claudia both alike are good role models for these girls. We should make mention, as the crowd starts to get louder and louder as we get close to the game, that Cheryl has just been awarded the Coach of the Year, which I think is fantastic. But it was even more notable that she is from Victoria, she's left her family, she's got 3 young children, and obviously a very supportive husband, as too does Claudia, in her husband Mike and 2 children. So I think that in itself is a role model for these women and what investments are to be made when you're a player.
Yeah, and I think it would be a really fairy tale story for Cheryl to win the championship this year. You touched on how she's had a few years out of the league coaching. She's assisted at Melbourne Boomers, but she hasn't been a head coach. She's made a huge sacrifice this season to do what she's done, to leave her children and her husband. So, I think the payoff for her to finish on top of the ladder, minor premiers, fantastic. But to be able to follow that through now with the championship, it would just be magic for her.
Absolutely. Well, as you can see now, ladies and gentlemen, the teams have been announced and we're about to stand for the national anthem. I don't know about you, Carly, but when I hear the Australian national anthem, there's something inside of me that just bubbles over and I get all nervous and excited, and even though I'm not out there on the court. What is it like for you?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. And
how is it for you right now, actually? Because I know it's hard for you. You've just retired. It would be strange. Is it hard sitting here on the other side of the white line?
It is in a lot of ways because we were so close to making finals this year. 1 game off, as a matter of fact, and you start thinking about all those games during the season, or things you could have done better, and that could have been the UC Caps out there right now, but the reality is that's not, and these 2 guys have earned their spot. but I'd certainly like to be out there.
I know, but on the flip side, lucky me, I get to have you sitting next to me. So that's I'm being selfish here and I'm excited. But as the crowd dawns in and we've got people filling up the stands with their Blue Flames t-shirts, I think it's really exciting for Sydney to be back in the finals. And as we go to look at the matchups for the starting five, Sydney, Leilani Mitchell in the point guard position, Belinda Snell most likely in the guard, followed by Alex Wilson in the forward position, Asia Taylor, who's had a formidable year, being the import for the Sydney Brighton Flames, and then also the big in the centre, Jennifer Hameson, coached by Cheryl Chambers. Townsville, Carly?
Yeah, Townsville have got a superstar starting lineup. They've got Michaela Cox, obviously from New Zealand, who's had a really good season. Kelly Wilson, who's returning from injury help, just like I mentioned earlier. We've got Mia Murray, Kayla Standish, and of course the superstar, Susie Baxter.
And obviously coached and led by Claudia Brassard, with a lot of talent in her own right as a player and now as a coach and leading the way for the Townsville JCU Fire. In terms of that starting lineup, Carly, who do you think will be the matchups that the crowd and obviously the viewers at home will be wanting to watch?
I'm really hoping that we're going to see Asia Taylor against Susie Baxter.
Is it going to be a grind it out, or is it going to be you score, I score, you score, I score?
Gee whiz, they're both scorers. I think it will be a I score, you score, and both of them are fierce competitors. So I'm very excited. I'm expecting it to get quite physical, and I'm looking.
So it's my type of game then.
Absolutely, Screeny, you would be mixing everything out there. I'm super excited to see that. I think anything could happen between those two tonight. We could get a black eye.
There's nothing wrong with the black eye. Now, strategically, if you were Townsville, what would you be looking to do differently with Leilani and getting the ball out of her hands? Anything, or would you focus on other players and try and lock them down?
That's part of the problem with Sydney and trying to stop them. They do have so many weapons. We went through before their studs and the people to look for, and I forgot about Alex Wilson. She's had a outstanding season this year. Her three-point shot has improved so much, but she can penetrate off the triple as well and get 2 feet in the key to not only score herself, but to create for someone else. So there's just no one that you can leave to double team Leilani or to double team Hanson in the middle. They've got so many scoring options, but as you said, the key is trying to keep the ball out of Leilani's hands, and that's difficult when she's a point guard, you know.
Do you think Sydney's biggest weakness may be on the defensive end?
Look, it could be, and it's difficult when you're playing a game like Townsville, a team like Townsville, that are another really high-scoring team, and especially when you talk about transition, they get it and they're gone. So they're out the other end and they're looking to score in the first 8 seconds. So defense is going to be something that both teams need to focus on tonight, and it could be really what ends up deciding who wins this.
Well, I don't know about you, but with 1 minute left on the clock, the nerves are starting to go. And as we introduce the referees for the game, John Chapman is the lead referee, followed by Simon Cozier and Todd Spain following his lead. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got the popcorn, beer at home, you're settled in, you brought your friends, and you're excited as much as we are to witness the first of the best of 3 series between the JCU Townsville Fire and the Brighton Lawyers Sydney Uni Flames. If you do have any questions, please hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts and questions at #AskWillow&Screeny, and we'll try and do our best throughout the game to answer them for you. Now we're going to call the game in terms of, I'm going to go with home court advantage with a 5-point win. Carly Wilson, hit me with yours.
Yeah, it's definitely Sydney for me tonight, and I'm going to go by 8.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you look forward to the contest as it gets started.
Screeny, this is one of my favourite parts when you walk out onto the court. You're in your huddle with your starting 5. You're giving yourself the last minute pump up.
Yeah, but you'll have some players that'll go, what did the coach say?
What are we running on defense?
Whereas you'll have the other players, what do you mean? were you not listening? And they have to regurgitate what has just been said. But, you know, that comes part and parcel with the game, the nerves. It's finals basketball. It's a totally different style, and hopefully the referees allow it to be played that way. There's some great talent out here, and I hope the people at home get to enjoy a great game of women's sport.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. At this point too, I think the referees are nervous as well. It's a big deal for them. They've won their rights to referee tonight. It's an honour to be selected to referee in the semi-final. So you expect, maybe some early calls from them. You don't know.
Exactly. It's a task that I would never like to do.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And we're underway with Sydney in possession of the first play of the semi-final in Game 1 between Sydney and Townsville. Straight off the bat, you can see that Townsville have come out pretty aggressive in terms of pick and roll they're wanting to trap. And 2 offensive rebounds there in the first play of the game is probably not the start that Townsville would like, but nerves to be expected. In terms of rebounds though, Carly, both teams are known for offensive and defensive rebounding.
Yeah, and boxing out tonight is going to be key. But when we look at the sort of rebounding talent that we have out there, boxing out isn't easy.
Especially when both these teams have forwards and guards that are happy to go and rebound as well.
Yeah.
Great pass there by Cox, and fed to Standish, who will go to the line for her first possible 2 points of this semi-final.
She did well to draw the contact then. She could have avoided it, but instead she went in hard. Now she's going to the free throw line.
I have a soft spot for the Standish family. I actually had the privilege of playing with her older sister, who's been around for many a year in the Queensland League, but she came and played for the Adelaide Fellas at the time in the WNBL that we were known as, and I ranked her with one of the best players I've ever played with. Her spin move was to die for. Her sister doesn't have it, but she's got a lot of other good points that are valuable for this Townsville team. Third rebound offensively there for Sydney with Linda Snell, something that she's been known throughout her whole career in doing. As we transition offensively back down the other end of the court. Execution, good shot there by Mia Murray, I should say, formerly known as Mia Newley, Brad Newley's brother that plays in the NBL with the Sydney Kings.
Yeah, she doesn't miss many of those, so you'd expect the next one to go down.
I don't know about you, Carly, but I'm finding these first couple of minutes a bit sluggish. Do you find that maybe the nerves is calming down a little bit in terms of the intensity of the game and finding their way?
I think so. And look, both teams have had some really good looks and they haven't gone down. And that's often the way these things happen in finals. That's the second three-pointer for Alex Wilson.
And he did speak about it. He did speak about it before the game. So Coach Wilson, who has told us formidably before the game in terms of what her threats are, and Alex just showed it right there.
Yeah, you cannot let her have 2 off in a row because that second one's going to go down.
Unfortunate miss there by Susie back to big on the right-hand side of the basket. Sydney down, nice penetration, and drawn the foul by Lelena Mitchell. 2 points going to the line for an extra bonus.
She just does that so well.
That little hesitation.
Yeah,
I guess
hesitation. Gets the defense up out of their stance, then assertively attacks again, gets a 3-point play.
Leilani, for me, I should say, she kind of is like a Jerome Randall. She has the ability to pick up speed and go, stop on a dime, fake you out, hit the 3, got the jumper.
Yeah.
And she has to because she's so small.
Yeah, that's right. You can see she's really developed her game, and the fact that she's small makes no difference from her. She can still do everything. And that's where they've got to attack her at the other end. If they're going to have a mismatch with her defending a Newley type who's, over 6 foot, that's what they've got to do. They've got to post her up and go inside.
7 minutes on the clock, 3 minutes down in this semi-final first game. Mia Murray at the line for 2. And adding 1 to the scoreboard there, 8-3. Sydney have the lead at the early stages of this first quarter. Both teams are pressing, whether it be a 1-2-2 or a 2-2-1, which Sydney were running before. Again, that left-hand penetration and the help side defense is lacking from Sydney. Something that they'll probably want to correct in their next time out.
Susie does what she does best.
Inverting the play, draw Susie out, make Hampson have to draw out and play her. It's a long way for her to travel, an advantage to Townsville. Often racing the ball in Murray's hands. Right idea, probably a little bit lacking on the execution, and an interesting call by the referees, which is followed up by a little bit of booing from this intense Sydney crowd. And as Cheryl just stated, come on Simon, you are better than that, which is probably a good statement to make.
Hey, don't pick on Simon, he's a Canberra boy. We love him.
Great
going left.
Yeah, going left. We all know that. We've all been told that. It's on every scouting report that you'll ever see for Susie, but somehow she just keeps going left and gets it done.
Well, that's the thing. She's so excellent at it that even though you know it's going to happen and you overplay her left hand and do all you can to force her to go right, she can still get it done. She can still get to the basket going left. It's a big 3 from Michaela Cox. They needed that.
They did. Hopefully that settles the nerves now as they apply the full court pressure in the hopes to probably rattle Sydney a little bit. Right now I think the nerve is settled with Sydney and their execution is going really well. Penetration I think is the key for Townsville moving forward. And we have a travelling violation. A little bit too quick.
The Snell and Murray matchup is an interesting one for me too. It's funny when you've got 2 shooters playing against each other. They should know each other's game very well and they should know how the other person wants to get their shots off. Two quick fouls.
Two quick fouls. Probably an interesting call. I mean, we're just going for the contest of the ball. I didn't really see anything in that, but players are going to have to adjust to the refereeing and the spin call as they head into a timeout. Now, if you were Cheryl right now, what would you be telling your players? You're up by 7 points in the early stages of this semi-final. It's now 12-10, 5 minutes on the clock. What would your be advice to the players?
Well, I think now the nerves are gone. We've settled into the game. I think Townsville struggled a little bit early, but they've now come good. And that massive 3 before, I think, was really good in terms of settling them. So now I think it's about focusing on your defense. Now that we've got our nerves out, let's get back to what are we doing on on-ball screens, what are we doing on a score, what are we doing on a miss. Let's focus on getting 3 stops in a row.
Absolutely, and the interesting thing to note with these teams going head-to-head this season in the WNBL 2017 season, they've played with each other 4 times. Sydney has won 3 out of those 4 games, but 3 of those games were by less than 2 points. So I'm hoping tonight is just as close, just as exciting, and it goes down to the wire, purely so we have an entertaining game to commentate on.
Absolutely, but I think regardless it's going to be an entertaining game. We've seen it for the first 5 minutes of play here. But you're right, the history shows us that it's going to be a tight one.
2 timeouts down in the first quarter. Sydney Uni Flames lead 12, Townsville 10, 5 minutes to go. That was a little bit of get out of jail free card there. A little stumble, but unfortunately Snelly put her hands in at the wrong time and got off the foul. That sends Townsville to the line and puts Sydney into the bonus.
As you touched on before, I think that we're going to see that a lot from Townsville. Susie stretching into the three-point line, looking to take it off the dribble. But, Susie loves to get into the three-point line anyway because she's so excellent at making those three-point shots. But that's going to be a handful for Hampton. Susie is quick, and as we've discussed, she likes to go left. It's going to be a big matchup.
And as that one rims out, 1 from 2, 12-11, 1-point lead to Sydney. Looks like Townsville have transitioned into a zone here. Wilson in the corner. Second three of the game. And again clarifies and reinforces what you said to us before the game, Carly.
And that's the danger of throwing in a zone against Sydney. They've got so many three-point weapons that they can go to. But, I think junking it up and changing up the defense is really key probably tonight. And it makes it hard for a team to settle into their offense.
Out of bounds, Townsville more substitutions in. Standish takes a well-earned rest as we welcome Garvin.
Darcy's a really quality player to come off the bench. If you look at her height, she's quite tall. Everyone wants height. Everyone wants height on every single team. So if you've got someone, of her stature getting subbed in as your 6th or 7th man, that can really help you at this stage of the game. But she's an excellent player in that she gets to the offensive rebound, and she always gets to the right spot on the floor. You'll often see someone penetrate or make an extra pass, and there she is, open in the exact right spot in the key to finish it off.
Sydney have decided to go a little bit small, subbing Hampton out. Susie being contested, double teamed. Can you explain to me that referee action?
I think he was giving a warning to Sydney for flopping.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Because once you've had the warning, you can then get a technical foul.
Kelly Wilson is an interesting one. She's played, started her career in Townsville, went back to Bendigo, her home's won a few championships, learned a lot from the Harrowers, with Kristen being the point guard, spent a bit of time with the Opals, experience there, comes back to Townsville, done a full circle, but still is one of those players that I think sometimes is undervalued, underrated, but can actually come out and destroy you in a final series like she did for Bendigo a couple of years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about experience. She's got a truckload of it in finals, in grand finals, and she's another person who can light it up from the three-point line. But as you've just seen before, a few plays ago, she can also penetrate and get to the basket.
Nice little 1-2 step. Execution out of bounds play. Murray for 2. Sydney lead by 1, 15-14. Snell for 3. Another offensive rebound to the Sydney Bride and Flames. And we reset for another 24 seconds. I'm liking her, Carly. Maybe you taught her a few things. penetration, turn around, spin move, fade away jump shot. I remember that a few times.
10 years ago. Gosh, it's been a while since I've done that. I just stand on the 3-point line now and chuck it through. I don't go inside the cage.
Nice cut there, great feed by Susie back to Nick. Fortunate is by Murray. Transition now for Sydney, pushing the ball. Right idea, great cut there. Unfortunately, Townsville ball turnover. It's interesting to see we're 8 minutes in, we're still having full court pressure, 5-on-5 up the court. Great to see the intensity hasn't lapsed as the fatigue is starting to increase in the game. Great presence there by back to Vic, 4-time that's a mouthful, isn't it? WNBL MVP of this league. A stalwart. Doesn't seem like she's slowing down anytime soon. And hits another 2. Great penetration there by Snell. Dishes out. Look. Another contested rebound by Sydney. The Townsville ball. Snell with the ball. Passes up to Nicholson on the wing. Slowing down, trying to get a poised execution. Substitution Sydney. Hampson back in. There by Tucker. Obviously, I think the intention, correct me if I was wrong, was to keep her left, force her away from the screen. She was poised and collected enough to draw the foul and have it out of bounds.
I think Cheryl Chambers might have liked that foul to be called a little bit earlier. Saw a bit of a head shake.
As that one rims out, back to it comes up. Oh! Unfortunate turnover there by Townsville. Sydney in transition. I've been waiting 9 minutes. I was about to say, I'm waiting for Snelly. But I guess she's taken on a different role this year. She's been unfortunate having an injury towards Christmas time, had to sit out. She's the punishment professional in terms of looking after herself and making sure she's left no stone unturned. But a new role for her, not the X factor, not the number 1 player. More of a leadership role in terms of harnessing the future of women's basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. And for her, at her age, to be able to come back and play the way she's playing after the injury that she's had, it's pretty remarkable.
46 seconds left on the clock. 4-point lead to Sydney. 2 possessions left. I have seen that move so many times. It's almost like the fadeaway Wilson. It's the up fake, step through, small move that she's been known for her whole career. And I can vouch that I've had to defend that many a time and always lose. Oh! She made that noticeable. I think Wilson did a great job of making it seen by the referees. Interesting call.
You don't agree?
I'm not. trying to remain diplomatic. 19 seconds left on the clock. You would assume that this would be the last play of the game. Or it's not the game, I should say, the first quarter. And look for Sydney, I would say, to go to Wilson or Snell. Interesting matchup with Garvin and Snell. Down to the last 5 seconds, penetration by Dupea, kicks out and hits it. Nicholson, 3 points as we run out the clock in the first quarter here at game 1 of the semi-final between the Brighton Sydney Uni Flames and the JCU Townsville Fire. Boy, that was a mouthful as I start to lose my voice here, Carly Wilson. Talk me through your thoughts in 1 minute of what you thought the first 10 minutes of the semi-final was about.
It's Sydney's game at this stage. What a fantastic way to finish that first quarter. The crowd went wild. They've run into that time out with their tails up. Momentum is a huge thing in basketball and even bigger in our final game. So they're going to be wanting to ride this in for the rest of this second quarter.
And if you were Claudia and you were the coach of the Townsville Fire, what would be your words of advice, encouragement, things to focus on leading into the second quarter? What do they need to lock down on?
Well, I hate to repeat myself, but it's got to be defense. They've got to get back on track. If they're going to let Sydney score 25 points in the first quarter, they're looking at 100 points. It's too much. It's too much. You are never going to be able to outscore a team in a final game when they're on target for 100. So they've got to lock down. They've got to. I think defensively they haven't been too bad, but I think they need to pick up their talking. And it's difficult in here because the crowd is so loud. But you can see that there's been a few times that Leilani and other players have got into the paint, and there hasn't been any help. They need to be communicating that better so they can rotate.
Absolutely. As we look at the stats heading into the second quarter for the Sydney Uni Flames, Alex Wilson leads all scorers with 10 points, followed up there by Belinda Snell with 5 and Leilani Mitchell with 5. Townsville Fire, on the other hand, have a spread of scorers, but with Susie Baktovic, the reigning MVP, leading the way, playing all 10 minutes with 7 points and 2 assists and 3 rebounds. Interestingly enough, both teams are shooting at a reasonable percentage at almost 45%, evenly from the 2-point line, and a great, plus 40% for Townsville, 43% I should say, for the Sydney Uni Flames from the 3-point line. On the rebounding count, we must look at the offensive rebounds that Sydney are getting. 4 in total for that quarter. I don't think Claudia would be proud of that effort, considering that rebounding is a huge asset that Townsville are known for as we head into this second quarter.
I think that's an extension of the defense that we've been talking about. If we're going to give them second chance points, they're going to get 25 points in the first quarter.
And as we see a wayward shot there by Susie Baktovic, out of bounds, Sydney Uni Flames ball. Hanson putting Mitchell on the wing. Five seconds on the shot clock. Small versus a big, and there you go. 6'5" versus, I'll give her 5'6" if she's lucky. Great pull up and recognition there by Leilani Mitchell. Great D there, I think, by Hampson to force Susie to her right, keep her off her predominant left hand. Help defense came from Snell. Unfortunate foul call, back to the line for 2.
Snelly's not happy about that. She felt like she had position.
Even though you don't have your glasses on, do you think that was position?
Are you trying to get me into trouble? Can you behave?
Always behaving.
I always agree with the referee calls.
Missing the first and the second, unusually there for Susie Baktovic. She will not be happy with that. An easy 2 points gone missing. Sydney ball. 27-16 at the early stages of the second quarter. Trying to make something out of nothing there, Mitchell and Snell. Good defensive rebounding, early transition play there, great attack at the rim by Standish, going to the line, drawing another foul against Sydney in the early stages of the second quarter. 2 points up for grabs. Early on in a row from the foul line. I hope this doesn't come down to the wire and hurt them at the end of the game. 1 from 2 substitutions. Taylor and Wilson back into the game for Sydney as Snell and Wilson take a rest.
Interesting that you talk about free throw percentage and how that can come back to really hurt you in the final minutes. Well, I'm just looking at Susie's stats now. She's an 80% free throw shooter this season, and so far has missed three free throws in this game so far.
Sorry, I was just about to squeal in. Great execution there by Sydney. Fed Asia the ball. Great cut and execution by Alex. Wilson unfortunately missed by Taylor, and now we have an offensive foul called as a result. Townsville out of bounds.
That's Asia Taylor's third foul, which is really going to hurt Sydney in this game. They need her out there.
Unfortunately has to take an early rest on the bench. With only 2 minutes into the second quarter. Great D there by Hampson. Stood her ground, used the size to advantage and forced Susie into a tough shot. Sydney ball in transition. Leilani going left. Smart play there. Got herself into a little bit of trouble. Townsville looking to double. Was poised, collected under pressure. And bounced it off the opposition's foot. Tupaya from the corner. Unfortunate miss. Out of bounds. Sydney ball. Again, they're hitting the glass so well, Carly. Possession game is massive right now, something that Townsville are lacking in and Sydney are doing really well.
Alex Wilson did a really good job then to get herself into position and make sure that while she didn't get the rebound, Townsville didn't have those.
Tupaya with the ball, Snell at the top, penetration, jump shot, and that veteran, I think she's played almost 275 games in the WNBL, in the midst of playing 8 years in Europe, and hits it for 2. Oh, a great rebound there. That's what I love about this game, that it can be so versatile. Even though you may be a guard, you can still have access to getting on the glass and coming up with huge rebounds and drawing fouls. Hanson takes a well-earned rest after providing some solid defense on Susie Backtvik. Nicholson takes her spot. Looks like Sydney are looking for a mismatch between Snell and Garvin. The veteran exploits her. Says thank you very much. I'll do what I'm good at and hit a 3 in your face.
Olivia Snell, she's still got it.
She does. 7 minutes and 11 seconds on the clock heading into the second quarter. 32-17. Sydney Uniflames with the lead.
For the people listening at home, don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us out a tweet. Hashtag #AskWillowandScreeny. We've got one already from Catherine Turner, except she said that the hashtag was a little bit too confusing for her, so she's not happy about it.
Know about Ask Wilson and Screen, or is it Willie and Screen? Screening.
Now you're making it sound professional.
I am.
Don't even know what hashtag
Sorry,
is.
what is it?
Hashtag #AskWillowandScreeny. Screeny with an I.
Screeny with an I, and Willow with an O, obviously. But 32-17, Sydney Uni clearly had the advantage. Possession game, hitting their open shots, executing quite well. This is almost do or die. This is a crucial timeout here for Claudia and the JCU Townsville Fire in terms of what are we going to do. I know it's finals basketball, there's a long time to go, but they better lock down now and find something more in the tank to be able to alleviate this score gap.
Well, we spoke about it, 25 points at quarter time, and they really wanted to focus on slowing that down, and they haven't achieved that so far.
Townsville ball. Wilson on the penetration. Nice easy layout with no help side defense coming to help her out. 2 points. Wilson on the wing. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Snell with the ball. Standish, hand up. Interesting shot, forced shot, but I'll give it to her. She had the hot hand, a minute ago. Wilson with the ball in the ring. Pick and roll. Dive. 6 on the shot clock. Shot by Cox. Rebound. Strong by Chupea as she leads back down the court for Sydney. Snell on the drive. They better get moving. Help comes in the form of Leilani. Love it. People watching at home, you can't underestimate the value of the possession game. She sacrificed with the body on the line. She may not have got the rebound, but that added to 2 points for her team, and they extend their lead. And then Kelly Wilson comes back down the other end and says, I've got this. I screwed up my rebound. I didn't box you out. I'll put the 2 points back on the board.
And Townsville looks so good when they push the ball. They're so good at it, especially at home. They get their crowd involved by getting the ball and pushing it and scoring it in the first 8 seconds. As you saw just then, that was in the first 5 seconds we've had possession of the ball. When they push it, they look good.
Sydney go to the line, substitutions both in for either team, and a nice little information coming from the waves that are Michelle Timms, who's at the other first game of this semi-final series between Dandenong and Perth. And we have what is known as a wrecking ball Cummings, who leads all scorers with 21 points. Word for word from Michelle Timms. Hashtag wrecking ball Cummings. And they are up at halftime, 45-23. An interesting scoreline. I thought that would have been a little bit closer, Carly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Perth are probably been a little bit in better form than... I mean, it's so hard to say, but if you go in the back half of the season, Dandenong have dropped a lot of games that they weren't dropping earlier in the season. Dandenong have led this season for the first half. They've been on top of the ladder, and they've been really untouchable there for a while. But Perth have really come through the goods in the second half of the season, so I'm actually surprised, as you say, that is the scoreline.
Sorry to interrupt you there. Great intercept there by Wilson. Set up a play, draws the foul. Looks like Kelly Wilson's having some pretty direct words with her Townsville players right now and trying the hopes to rally the troops, get them going. 36-21 lead to Sydney. Blue ball out of bounds. Wilson on the drive, pull up Jay. Bounces off the rim. Townsville in transition. Nice drive there by Garvin. I would have liked to have seen her probably establish herself more in the post. She had an advantage. She kind of, shimmied away. As a coach, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Carly, you want your player to establish that position, especially if they have an advantage, but lucky for her, great penetration skills going to the line for 2.
But she was the lead post, so ordinarily you want your lead post to, as you say, establish herself right under the basket and try to get that one good shot. But Darcy is really up front to the basket, the post player. She's got a really good 15-foot shot, and as I was saying before, she just gets to the right positions at the right time. So, while she was the lead post and you want her posting up, if it's not really her game, she can step out and take it off the dribble instead.
Great try there by Kelly Wilson, diving on the floor, trying to get the intercept. 8 on the clock. Mitchell Kukam and collected. It's a nice, easy jumper going left for Sydney. Extends the lead to 14 points, 38-24. 4:30 to go in the second quarter.
Very difficult to stop Susie if they're going to let her catch it back.
Exactly, and I think if Townsville start to focus on their possession game, which allows them to... Oh no. Three from 4 from downtown for Alex Wilson for the game so far. 13 points for the game. Susie for a tough fadeaway too. Is it just me, or is she looking at me stiff in the neck and counting it into Susie? Or is it just me?
It's probably
maybe just me. Yeah. Oh, interesting call there by the referees. Kel's trying to get a team going by establishing some, aggression out there on the court and leading by example. Unfortunately, hasn't gone away, and a Sydney ball from the sideline. I hope Townsville can get it together, lock down possession, start to exploit Susie, get her in the post, go to work, and start to chip away this last 4 minutes of the second quarter, I should say, leading into the half. Player on the wing. Mitchell now at the top. 7 on the shot clock. Sydney better get to work. To pay her. She's now almost an established player in the league.
absolutely.
I remember her as a junior, and I was still playing in the league, but was an up-and-comer, and I'm a bit impressed so far tonight with her contribution so far in the game.
Yeah, and she's had some injuries too. She's a player that's had to handle some adversity in terms of her body and the injuries, but as you say, she's established herself now.
Great transition there by Sydney. Unfortunately, it's my Snell. Townsville pick up the rebound, trying to get this lead back into respectable digits. Garvin chasing her own, does the hard yards, gets her stats up. 2 points, going to the line for a bonus.
What I'm really liking about Sydney right now is that they were not relying on one player. We saw Leilani lead the way early, penetrating and getting some three-point plays. Alex Wilson has stepped up, as we've discussed, and then Snelly, of course, had that purple patch there. Everyone's stepping up at different times, and it's making them very difficult to stop right now.
Pick and roll, switch, Susie on Leilani. Leilani attacks the body of Susie. Again, possession game, Carly. I don't think I've said it enough. I almost feel like I'm coaching here, but it's something that Townsville needs to lock in. And it's just effort. That's all it is. A little bit of effort is going to lead them into trying to get this lead back from 12. Sydney ball to Paya with the drive. Mismatch. Unfortunately, an interesting foul. But the worst part about it is it sends them to the bonus. Sydney now have two shots to extend this lead out to 14, 43-31. Missing the first. And the second. Loud with the ball, pushing it in transition. Sydney with the crucial steal, attacking, poised, she wanted the foul, doesn't matter, she got the 2 points and the crowd have erupted. Sydney lead 45-41. 1 minute 53 on the clock. What's in custody?
I did notice before that they reversed the ball without giving her a look.
Yeah.
She was not happy about it. And neither should she be.
No, exactly. I mean, reigning MVP, averaged a double-double, I believe, at the right young age of 37. I won't be happy either.
Well, that's right, and she's got 12 points already tonight. She's the only player for Townsville and John Figures.
And as Sydney hit another three, over 50% from the three-point line, Claudia rushes from the bench, calls a timeout, trying to recoup these girls. Less than 2 minutes to go on the clock. I hope it isn't a blowout. What are you thinking, Carly?
I think it's too early to call. If anyone can come back, it's Townsville. Especially when you've got players like Susie Bakovic, as we've spoken about, who can flat out score. But they're going to have to make some changes. They need to make them fast.
Yeah, it's interesting. Pretty crucial time heading into the halftime. 48-32. Wilson, Snell, Leilani, they're all contributing.
They're all in double figures.
If you were Townsville, what is the one thing coming out of this timeout that you want to focus on?
I don't think they can focus on one particular player, because as soon as they focus on one, someone else steps up. But just like you talking about possession non-stop, I'm going to talk about defense non-stop, because when you've got players like that can score like Sydney is scoring, you have to focus on it. And as you said, it's got to be one and done. They can't play good defense for 20 seconds and then allow Sydney to get a rebound and set it up again. They are too good. They need to make it one and done. They get possession and then they focus on their transition game up the other end and scoring as quickly as possible.
We're out of the timeout. Both teams are back on court. Susie's had a little bit of a word to the referees, pleading for a little bit of assistance to try and get Townsville back into this game. Townsville out of bounds.